Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share a personal project I've been working on for a while, my Transformers fan comic. I'll show you some snippets of the progress, including thumbnailing and inking, and explain more as we go along. As I mentioned in the previous video, the purpose of this project is not to create a new IP, but rather to showcase my ability to make a comic and get as much feedback as I can. And if I'm lucky, I might land a project or trial opportunity. Let me clarify that this is not a tutorial on making comics. I'm an amateur comic artist sharing my process, mistakes, and lessons learned along the way. Maybe we can learn together, or perhaps I can inspire you to start your own project. Feel free to give any critiques or suggestions. By the way, I haven't decided on the title yet, so maybe you have some suggestions? Believe it or not, at some point I considered naming it Transformers 1 until I saw the announcement of the movie Transformers 1. Why Transformers? I'm not entirely sure, but I was considering several established IPs from comics and games. When conceptualizing short stories to adapt, the Transformers story was the one I felt most confident with. Plus, I wanted to draw some robots. The plot is not original, it borrows elements from various sources, with the first Michael Bay movie being a significant influence, so it's a familiar plot retold in a different way. Workflow. Before diving into the details of the project, I want to share what a typical comic making process looks like from an artist's perspective. We usually receive a script from a writer or publisher, and it's our duty to translate that script into actual pages. Scripts can vary greatly. Some might contain only paragraphs describing the story, giving us more freedom to adapt it into comic form. Other scripts might have detailed instructions, specifying the number of panels per page, scene descriptions, camera angles, and etc. For these kinds of scripts, we can focus more on executing the scenes right away. And then there are scripts that combine both approaches. Some pages have detailed descriptions for each panel, while others are more general, allowing the artist to interpret them. In this case, I wrote my own story, so I skipped the script stage and went straight into the draft. The draft, or thumbnails, is a rough sketch of the comic based on the script. It includes paneling, rough scenes, and sometimes sound effects and dialogue bubbles. The goal is to create a mock-up of the real comic for review and revisions. This is where we finalize the composition and the scenes in each panel. This phase is crucial for making changes and tweaks before the actual pages are produced. This planning stage is essential. Once everyone is happy with the draft, we move on to the production stage, which usually, but not always, includes penciling or sketching, line art, coloring, and lettering. Usually, different artists handle each step to ensure the high quality of the result. Our job is to focus on creating awesome drawings and ensuring the story is effectively delivered to the readers. Corrections and revisions are common, but should be minor. Since I'm working alone, I build the story through the draft, making changes and tweaks for my satisfaction. Now, let's move on to the plot. The plot of this comic is simple. A human character named Tim finds a box his father was researching before his disappearance. In search of his father, Tim posts about it on an online forum and gets a reply from someone at a university who has studied a similar box. This person warns him about the danger it brings, as a shady government organization is also after these boxes. They agreed to meet at the university. The comic starts with Tim beginning his journey from his hometown. He's paranoid about being watched by some vehicles. These vehicles turn out to be Autobots and Decepticons fighting over the cube Tim has, which is part of the Allspark from the Cybertron. Tim gets caught up in the war between these factions. Will he take side in this battle? Will he work together with these aliens to find his father? It's a straightforward and easy to follow story. Characters. First off, I didn't make detailed character sheets. I just drew the characters from a few angles and poses. However, I recommend creating detailed character sheets if you're starting a comic. It will save time and maintain a consistency. I underestimated the importance of pre-production and jumped straight into the drawing the pages, which led to inconsistencies. So this is Optimus Prime. Pretty recognizable. The character design in the actual pages doesn't really change much from these character sheets. This is Bumblebee's early design. I made some changes to make it more rounded, but didn't create a new character sheet. This flexibility is a perk of working on a personal project. However, don't skip this step if you're collaborating with others, as all parties need to agree on the designs. For Starscream, I only did one drawing, which I regretted. I should have drawn him in more angles and scenarios, including his jet plane mode. since he appears frequently in the comic. More detailed character sheets would have helped maintain consistency. As you can see, I took a lot of liberties with the mech designs, combining elements from G1, Cyberverse, Bay movies, and adding touches from Gundam for practicality. Although iconic, G1 design posed little challenges. So I added some joints to make it a little bit more believable in the sense of movement. It's still stylized and cartoony though, not entirely realistic. Tim, the human character, went through a few design iterations. I initially considered common names like Greg or Jake, or even Sam Witwicky, given their similar roles. Despite my initial sketches, I realized the importance of consistent character design, which I refined over time. Closing! In the next update, we'll discuss the draft or thumbnailing phase, where we adapt the story, script into pages and panels. I believe they call it name for mangas in Japan. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video.